Hey friends, it is Pi Day. So it is Monday, March 14th. So Pi Day, no 314. My kids are too young to understand what Pi Day is, but I figured, you know what? Let's make pie. So I'm gonna do a pot pie of some kind tonight, and we're gonna make an apple pie because, where'd I put it? Oh, right here. I have apple pie filling I made, so all I have to do is make a crust and pop it in the oven. We're gonna do that. My pot pie is probably not gonna have a bottom crust. Probably just gonna do a top crust, and my apple pie will probably just have a bottom crust and make a crumble on top. Because I really don't want to make more crust than I have to. I love pie, but I honestly am not the biggest fan of rolling out pie dough. But homemade crust just tastes so much better than store-bought crust. So we're gonna make some, and we're gonna make it in, what's this called? A food processor. I've never made my pie crust in a food processor. I always do it by hand because it just seems so daunting to clean it afterwards. But I had it on my counter from washing it, so we're gonna just use it. It is really easy to use if you've never. Mine all kind of stacks together. So mine comes with two blades. One is like an actual metal one, and then one is this plastic blade for, it says to knead, whatever. We're gonna use it. Set these extra components over here. And if you don't have this cookbook, I'm gonna tell you, you need this cookbook. So it's by the Prairie Homestead. What is it called? The Prairie Homestead Cookbook. Jill Winger. So if you've never had it, we use so many recipes out of this all the time. Her biscuits are my husband's favorite. Her pie crust is amazing. I use her sourdough bread recipe. I just made 2 loaves of it. I don't think it's in this, but it's on her website. We love it. I mean, so much that like the spine is broken on my book. So it's an all butter pie recipe. It's 4 things. It is stupid easy to make. So we're gonna make two of them. And then paper falling out of my cookbooks. All right, so what do we need? We need flour. So you need some flour. All it is flour, salt, cold water, and butter. So it's pretty dang easy. So let's find some measuring cups, shall we? All right, so let's make it. Now there's a bunch of pie recipes out there. Don't think this is like the only one. There's lots and lots of amazing ones I've tried over the years. The one thing with all butter recipes is that it is kind of hard to roll out straight out of the fridge. I know you're supposed to like let the dough rest and everything. We'll see if we have time for that today, since I am doing this kind of on a whim. It's 4 o'clock after time change. So we'll see how motivated I am. All right, so salt. This is probably one of my favorite little vintage store finds, little salt crock. I love it. So need a different measuring spoon. I don't need a super salty dough, but you don't have salt in breads and stuff, y'all missing out. All right, so what do they want you to do? Flour, salt, cut the butter in, add some water. So let's get the water part going. You need cold water. So my trick is ice. In water. Okay. So you want ice cold water to make this recipe. So put this on. All right, so let's scoot this over. We need butter. This recipe doesn't take as much butter. I think because it only makes one pie crust. It's for like a 9-inch. All right, I cannot peel this. Like a 9-inch pie. That's like your typical fairly shallow pie pans. If you are making one like a bigger deep dish pie, you're gonna want to like possibly double this. All right, so my butter, I am just cubing it so it shreds up a little bit better. My butter is pretty cold. It's not as cold as it could be, but it's pretty cold. A lot of people like to grate their butter. I just don't like having to wash a grater after grating it. I don't know, that just bothers me. I always just cut mine, and I usually use an old-fashioned pastry cutter. All right, and I need 3 more. Oh, come on, butter. Old-fashioned pastry cutter. And when you use a butter thing like this, don't throw it away. Just set it to the side and use it to grease your pan. I saw that as a trick somewhere. I don't even where, probably somewhere on the internet these days. And it is the coolest trick in the world. So cool. All right, so cube this butter up. And like so. Stick this on. And I'm just gonna keep adding a little bit of water, massaging the dough. And you can do this on like a surface just fine, countertop. I'm feeling extremely lazy at the moment, so I'm gonna do it in a bowl. And all I do is I like mush and go. Let me tilt you down. Okay, so all I'm doing is mushing to really incorporate the cold water. And I'm just doing tablespoon at a time. So because this is doubled, I started with 5 tablespoons on the low end of the recipe. And then I will just add a tablespoon at a time till I get it to a good dough recipe consistency. I'm gonna stick them in the fridge while we work on making the pot pie filling. Apple pie filling's done, so I really just have to roll it out when it's time. So let's work on making them. Okay, so I have my Dutch oven heating up. I have some leftover chicken thighs I cooked up a couple days ago. To make my old man some broth. And then I have some carrots for my garden. And then we of course have peas, corn, And then onions. I just made a video about preserving some onions. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't decided if I want to throw green beans or not in. I might not because I'm being a little on the lazy side. So we're gonna cook these onions down though pretty good. I don't like mine very cooked. All right, so for these for these onions, all I do is I mean, bang on your counter at your liking. You know, however you want. I really don't care. We have solid wood countertops. And I put, just shake in. You can shake in or measure how much you want. Zip it back up. Close it. Stick them back in the freezer. Thank you. These onions were like strong onions. So it's a lot. Not gonna lie, it's a lot. I'm just gonna let them cook down. The peas and the corn, I am going to kind of measure out, and then I'll stick them back in the freezer because I don't want the whole bag to defrost, but what I have will be fine. Looks like the rest of the bag looks good. Open this bag of peas. That much looks good. I know this filling that I'm making is gonna be way more than a 9-inch pie dish can hold. A 9-inch pie dish does not hold much at all. If I'm cooking like, oh, I wanna put this in the freezer. If I'm cooking like a meal with my husband home at night, I don't make it in a 9-inch pie dish. A 9-inch pie dish is like a waste in our family. I always use a deep pie dish. It's what I prefer to even make pies at the holiday for. I mean, if you're making a pie, get more bang for your buck. So let me show you what we're gonna cook in. All right, this is your typical 9-inch pie dish. You're very typical. It's not very shallow. Or it is very shallow, excuse me. And then you have the deep dish. The deep dish, how deep is it? It's a 9.5. 9.5. Okay. 24. I'm not used to having Pyrex that actually says all the information on it. Okay, so this one is, it says a 9.5, this is a 9, but you can see the depth-wise, this is big. It's gonna give you a lot. This is what we're doing. Both pies in tonight. So as those cook down, let's prep my carrots. here's my thighs. I'm going to just kind of roughly chop some of it because some of them are in big pieces. And I'm gonna get it ready to stick in here. Just throw it in with my peas and stuff. And then all I gotta do is make a gravy, put the pies together, and stick them in the oven. It's that easy. See if this works to show you what I'm actually doing, since this is a pretty good pot. So you can see everything is slowly cooking down in here. It's looking good. I'm going to take my bowl of everything, throw it in. Now this is a lot, but I'm planning to use anything left over for leftovers. It's how I cook. Make one thing and make 5 things out of it. Alright, so I'm just going to mix this all in. So the chicken, the peas, and the corn really just have to heat up. Kind of keep mixing it up. And then I have some broth I made. This is from the chicken thighs. I just throw this in. I forgot to put in garlic. Dang. I forgot garlic. I'm gonna go grab garlic. We're gonna throw this in. So they're just enough, you can see just enough broth to kind of give it a little liquidy, because I want to make a gravy. I'm not making soup. I'm going to cheat the system. I'm going to use some of this garlic tonight. Normally I like to kind of toast it and all that, but you know what? Sometimes your mind's just not here cooking, and that's what I'm going to do instead. So I'm going to just mix this in, and at this point, I am going to also add in some pepper. I don't want my shaky pepper. I want this pepper. So some pepper. I'm gonna throw in some salt. And then we're gonna throw in parsley, a good amount, give it some green color. I'm gonna throw in some thyme. Oh, come on. I hate when it doesn't shake out the shaker. And then for good measure, a tad bit of granulated onion, that our spices get so caked up here since we're so humid. And I think I'm just gonna keep it easy tonight. That's all I'm gonna do. Nothing fancy. Yeehaw, cowgirl! Are you out there riding? Yeehaw! Cowgirl, cowboy! To make the gravy, I'm going to use cornstarch tonight. You can use cornstarch, arrowroot powder, clear gel, things that will thicken it without having to really cook it down like making a gravy or a roux with a flour. So tonight I'm using cornstarch. It's what I found first in my pantry. So as all of the stuff in my pot cooked down, I'm gonna take a little bit of the broth, the back out, stick it in here, mix it with my cornstarch to make sure it's good and dissolved. And then I'll pour it back in. I'll let the gravy, as it heats up, it will thicken. So then I will make the gravy, and then we'll put it in the dish, throw a pie shell on it, stick it in the oven. Stick it in the oven. It's to me, this is a fast, easy dinner. I know to some people this is a lot of work. So just do whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm gonna let this heat up, and then I'll show you how I make the gravy part. All right, so that is not my ladle. I I'm gonna take.
Look, I found your banana.
Found me more flowers?
Yep.
I can't wait.
Here you go.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
All right, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of this broth out. Now that it's heated up, I think it just helps everything dissolve a little better. Thank you. That is awesome, sir. Awesome. All right, so if you can see over here, I have, how much did I take out? About like a 1/4 cup. And I'm just gonna, Zero decision for you. I'm just gonna grab a good scoop of cornstarch. I don't know how much. If you want measurements, I am not your person to cook with. So when it's warm, it will dissolve really well, just like that. It dissolves super easy when it's warm. So now that it's thick, and it's not thick, but it's creamy and white, pour it back in. Yay!
Mom, look at this one.
Oh my gosh.
You love
Oh
garden.
my gosh, I love it. Set them all right here. Thank you.
You like that one?
I love it.
I don't have those for my hair. And I have some to you.
Okay. So now that it's in here, all I'm going to do is basically bring this to a boil, keep stirring it, and this will all thicken up into a gravy, and we'll ladle it into our pans and work on the apple pie. Figured I might as well get a jump start on it. If you do not make pie filling, you'll need to. It is so easy to make a pie. There's my little fertile thing. So you just dump it in. Pie's ready to go. Best thing ever. I love apple pie, but I don't really go through the effort of making it. Making fruit pies from scratch all that often, they're just not as fun for me to make. So here's this. Oh my gosh! And we're gonna make a crumble to go on top. A super simple crumble. Thank you, babe. All right, for this crumble, you can do them a bunch of different ways. I am just taking some These are old-fashioned oats. Maybe a few more. This is my cheating oats. I'm gonna take a little brown sugar, not too much, because there is quite a bit of sugar in pie filling in general. I don't know, maybe close to a quarter cup, maybe. I don't know, you guys. I'm not measuring it. So there's that. And then I have butter from earlier, and of course, lost all my dishes since I have a sink pile pie. Just gonna take some tablespoons of this. You don't have to use butter, but why wouldn't you? Is the other question. And all I'm going to do is, I'm gonna have to use my hands because butter is not soft enough. Normally if it's soft enough, you can kind of mush it with a spoon. There we go. It's kind of like a cobbler pie. So we have the cobbler top, pie bottom. I'm going to stick this on this guy, so if it does bubble over, we're a little safe. And I'm sticking this in my oven because this will take a little bit to cook. This gravy has almost boiled down, so I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer, and then we will package it up. I think everything I just did was out of focus and not in, not in the view. I'm very sorry. Let me tell you what I did. I filled this up with filling. I rolled out the next pie dough and kind of crimped the edges. Okay, so I kind of crimped the edges. Now I have a knife and we're putting in, some vents. Because whenever you have a top pie crust, you need a vent. Have it on a cookie sheet. I'm gonna stick it in the oven, and basically it just needs the pie shell to cook. Everything else is ready to go. This is also the point of cooking where it is a race. How much can I get done? My food is in the oven. I honestly don't know how long it's gonna take to cook tonight. I'm gonna say about 30 minutes. I have a mound of dishes. My counters are a disaster. So it's time to speed clean. All right, I just pulled them out of the oven. Here's the pot pie. Here's our apple pie cobbler pie. I'm gonna call it our cobbler apple pie, I guess.
I should say. It's nice and golden. I didn't egg wash or anything on these pie crusts, so they didn't brown up as much. I love you. I am your mommy. All right, I didn't egg wash these, so they didn't brown as much. I could have left them go a little longer.
Can I take my acorns?
Sure. You can keep your acorns.
I got 5.
Okay. I didn't egg wash them. I could have let them go a little longer, but it is almost 6 o'clock. We need to eat. So here's how they look, and I'll show you what they look like dished up.
Where's the
Here's pie. My piece kind of fell apart, but dang, does it smell good. So there we go. There was dinner. We had dessert. I normally don't make desserts very often at all. They are a special occasion thing. But with being Pie Day today, tomorrow's my wedding anniversary. Kind of easy. Easy all in one thing. So thank you guys so much for joining me as I made this. If you like it, I'm more than happy to do this again. I really, really enjoy cooking. Learning to film and cook has been a little fun adventure. So I'm hoping I'm getting a little better at it. So if you enjoyed it, let me know, and hopefully I'll bring you guys more. Bye guys.